Yeah, thank you very much, Chair, and welcome to our guests, to both our guests today. It's, of course, a critical area. I was actually going to start by asking you about the question that you slightly addressed there, that the adjustments by Commissioner Sefcovic to allow medicines and and pharmaceutical products to enter, if I understand it correctly, to enter Northern Ireland unchecked now as part of the adjustment, the practical adjustments to the protocol. And you did reference it. I presume that will be of enormous assistance and will get over a major problem that was anticipated. And you might elaborate further on that. I'd like to ask you, obviously it's great that we don't have domestic within the Republic, but we do obviously, and particularly if you're from a border county, feel a level of a duty of care and an affinity, etc. with Northern Ireland. So it's of concern. While it's good news, we don't have shortages in the Republic or threatened shortages, if I understand it correctly. It is good news that Northern Ireland could now be mitigated, that the problem in Northern Ireland could be mitigated by the latest initiative from the EU Commission. I'd like to ask you, in the context of the vaccines at the moment, and I mean, we're specifically concerned with Brexit here, but at the same time, you might decide to comment on the TRIPS waiver and how important it is to your pharmaceutical industry not to have a TRIPS waiver, or is that the case? And if it's important not to have one, why and how more efficacious is it not to have a TRIPS waiver? In other words, is it there are people who argue, and I've heard this argument put in another forum recently, that a lot of taxpayers' monies right across Europe have gone into the research to create the vaccines. And by virtue of the fact that it's taxpayers' money that's gone into to create them and to do the research on them, while there's obviously a profit element for the pharma industry, and we have no objection to that per se, that surely by virtue of the taxpayers' input and expense into and payment into the whole process, there is a right to have a TRIPS waiver and to get the vaccines to the underdeveloped world. It mightn't be totally germane to today, but it's a relevant question when we have you here. And the last question I'd like to ask you when we have you here, and I would make the point before I ask this question, it is the whole pharma sector is of tremendous importance to our Irish economy, and we're acutely aware of that, all of us in the Oireachtas, and we value that and don't take that in any sense for granted. But my next question is, in relation to prescription drugs, like say that are opioids, like tramadol for pain, etc. Have you much evidence in the sector, and it's not something you'd want, obviously, but have you evidence of addiction to prescription drugs? Has this been put to you at all within this country? I know it to be a European problem, and we all know it to be a very American problem, albeit improving in recent times. So could you comment on the degree to which you're aware of addiction to prescription drugs, and what would the pharma sector be doing by way, if you like, of social engineering or investment or support to eliminate that problem? What would your exercises there be? And indeed, when I'm on it, if you wanted to comment on non-prescription drugs too, but I'm more specifically interested in prescription. But returning to the very specific Brexit question, am I correct in thinking that the recent initiative by the Commission would solve the supply problem in Northern Ireland? And am I correct as a consequence that also that the position in the Republic where we don't have shortfalls would continue? And with that, thanks for the opportunity, Chair, and thank you to our guests. It's very worthwhile to have you here, and thanks for being here. Thank you.